Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another video. Welcome back to the channel. Hope that everyone out there is doing absolutely fantastic and that you're all having a wonderful day. Don't forget to follow me on social media. There are links in the description below the video. A very big thank you to everyone out there, as always, who leaves a like on the video. You help out the channel a lot. And without any further ado, let's jump right into it. A lot of money moving around, a lot of seemingly renewed interest, or rather, even more rarer than before when it comes to buying cryptocurrencies. The companies who have announced previously that they're buying crypto, we've been getting news from them recently again. A bit of the tokenization news has slowed down. A bit of the stablecoin news has also seemingly slowed down as well. There's a 0% chance that any of these companies are actually going to stop or slow down their cryptocurrency purchases anytime soon. This one's actually quite interesting. We haven't heard this. It feels like it's been a couple of months. There were other companies who announced before, but since then it seems to have slowed down at least a tiny bit. A publicly listed company called InsurTech. Okay, actually, no. They have a much longer name. Their name is InsurTech Company Reliance Global Group. That's a InsurTech Company Reliance Global Group. Okay, has announced that they have acquired XRP, marking a strategic move to expand its digital asset treasury. We had news around springtime, that there were, I believe, 9 companies. I think they all announced the same week. I think that's why it also made news. The exact same week announcing that they planned on acquiring abstractly enormous amounts of XRP. Since then, to my knowledge, I don't remember any or many other companies announcing it. There might have been a couple, or some of them might have simply said that they plan on doing so. That's also been a thing. Some companies have said next year we plan on, building a $100 million crypto portfolio. We're planning on raising $200 million to buy these coins, but they simply have not done it yet. This company right here with the super long name apparently just did so. The majority of companies, of course, have mainly been Bitcoin. We've had, I want to say 15 to 20 for Ethereum, and the other coins have usually had 2 companies, 1 companies, or no companies at all. According to a recent release, Reliance's acquisition of XRP is part of its efforts to build a diversified, portfolio of cryptocurrencies. There we go. Following its earlier accumulation of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. I do not remember that at all. This must have popped up, or maybe I just simply missed it. I make fun of company names all the time. InsurTech Company Reliance Global Group, I would have made fun of that. And I also would have remembered that they had purchased Cardano before, because I also don't remember any company announcing Cardano. We've had a couple of companies, like even the one, what was the one recently? Yizzy Labs, like YZI Labs, which apparently is a partner company of like Binance. I think it was Binance Labs. They announced that they're acquiring Binance Coin, and it's like you can't create yourself and then announce that you're accumulating the thing that you also created from the company. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Notably, Reliance suggested that its crypto holdings align with its long-term strategy of striking a balance between innovation, stability, and value. Cool. That sounds like fun. I guess we've had a lot of companies announcing over the last few, and I almost said years. I almost said the word years. It's just been months. It's barely even been an entire year with all of this insanity that we've had going on and all these high levels of accumulation by a still small amount of companies. Next year, we're expecting or have been told that these numbers are going to rise. It does seem logical. Metaplanet is, what is it? I think next year, Metaplanet wants an additional 190,000 Bitcoin. Like what? Like that doesn't even sound like a real number. So yeah, that's another company purchased XRP news. We're getting them every now and again. I guess it's better than none at all. And yeah, let's move on. Also sure. Digital asset treasury companies will eventually consolidate under a few larger players as the cycle matures and companies try to attract investors. This is according to Coinbase's head of investment research, David Duong. The idea would basically be, you want to know how the world works? So, you know how Amazon became so popular? Well, I mean, number one is money. Got it. But secondly was any time any company created something that was similar to Amazon or looked like Amazon or kind of did almost exactly what they were doing, you know what Amazon would do? They would buy them. They would buy that company and then they would actually tear the company apart. It sounds like a joke, but it's not. They would actually like dismantle it completely. They would fire everyone who worked there and it would basically become a zombie company that was no longer publicly listed, no longer like no one knew what it was anymore. This is a normal strategy or a strategy that has been normalized to kind of stop competition. The idea basically being, if we can absorb every other company and then not have anyone be as big as us, then we are therefore the winners. It's kind of the exact opposite of what capitalism actually is, because capitalism, for those of you who don't know, who are shaking your heads, has to do with like, allowing competition and free market. If the person across the street is better than you, the idea of you creating a monopoly is bad. That's why the game Monopoly is meant to show you how. Okay, so this does make a lot of sense. We have already seen this year a couple of mergers. There were a couple of Ethereum companies who merged with other companies and their holdings became that one company's holdings. I think it's been quite rare thus far with Bitcoin companies. Maybe something behind the scenes happened, but we've had no real news about it. The end game probably for a lot of this will probably be BlackRock or some other gigantic company absorbing some other company. If a company has a valuation of $4.4 billion that's with their crypto, and you say, hey, we're going to give you $6 billion, not many people are going to be like, no, sir, I don't want extra money. You're going to just take it. And that's how it usually works. Speaking to Cointelegraph, Duong said, outside of strategies to boost share prices, companies may start to pursue mergers and acquisitions, much like the recent Strive and Similar Scientific deal. Never heard of it. As we approach the more mature phases of the DAT cycle. And here's a little tweet for it right here. That's absolutely fantastic. Wow, there are words. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So apparently Strive and Similar now have over 10,900 Bitcoin. I'm so happy for their wealth. At the same time, Duong said DATs are also pursuing more crypto native strategies. such as generating yield through staking or DeFi looping. My goodness, the amount of times that we've heard about staking, yield, or DeFi this year has been absolutely staggering. It is all over the place, but it makes a lot of sense. As we went over before, if you're a company who announces that you're into crypto, cool. Many of these companies have seen their stock prices like skyrocket, like not go up, like some of them are, thousands of percent up. It mainly has to do if you buy Bitcoin at 15,000, it goes to 44,000. Well, you made a lot of free money. It goes to 100,000, you made even more monies. The idea of being able to stake these things and make passive income, that's literally free money for your company. If your company has $1 billion worth of Bitcoin and Ether, and you are making on average 3.5% of that, your holdings per year, you literally as a company created money from thin air. You've raised your valuation. It's a very powerful thing. Or DeFi looping, which involves repeatedly borrowing and repositioning the same asset to amplify returns. He said, and there's still a lot more they can do here. I think the future will depend a lot on what happens with regulatory shifts, liquidity, and market pressures to get a clearer sense of where this could all go long term. This is why I told you 2026. I mean, it's just simple logic. We'll probably get a lot of solidification of the market. We're going to see which coins are being chosen by banks and central banks to launch their central bank digital currencies. We are going to have at least 20 to 30 different ways to stake Bitcoin and to stake Litecoin and to stake XRP and to stake every other coin that doesn't natively have staking. One of these companies is going to announce for retail and for institutions, 2.3%. This new coin that comes out, you get 3% of your money. That one will be the winner. It's just more of we have to see what's going on, even for the idea of regulatory shifts. I can't be the only one. If you've been in this market, especially if you have a crypto company like these people do, they're used to being told, shoo, get out of here, go away. And then Gary Gensler comes out in a Halloween mask and, scares everyone down the street. We don't know if the SEC this time is going to stick to their word. Nothing really seems stable because we've been in a market that's been anything but. How are we supposed to know what the future really holds? Because the future thus far has been completely all over the place. Duong said recent share buybacks from crypto treasury firms in the last few weeks are a result of this new stage. Yeah, cool. We'll see what ends up happening. Time moves forward. We have no choice but to be with it. I assume we're going to see a lot more mergers. It's not the most exciting thing in the entire world, but it will monopolize and solidify which companies are basically going to hold all the crypto. I have lost any kind of faith in any shape or form that normal people are going to start paying attention or really get to it. I know I talk about documentaries a lot, but they really, I think I watch them because I want another facet of kind of what's going on. I lived a very different life 15 to 20 years ago. I live a very particular life now. I invest, I like art, all these other kinds of things. And I think a lot of times it does happen. You can't say that it doesn't. You kind of lose touch with how things actually are. There's so many documentaries on people, they can't afford their rent. They most certainly can't afford school. And I mean, people like students looking for housing. That's no longer a thing. If you've ever seen stuff about what it's like to live in London. I briefly lived in London many moons ago. And I remember back then it wasn't as bad, but now if you want to live in the city center, and I'll even throw in a good zone 2 into that as well. Most people live in like zone 6 and zone 7. London is wild. So yeah, I watch a lot of documentaries regarding like wealth, money, how people are dealing with things, how they're not dealing with things, how money is flowing, how it's not flowing, people looking for jobs, all these other kinds of things. There's a reason why I keep telling you to make sure to save your money, to have a savings account. It's not because I'm like, yeah, I'm going to turn. No, like everything is quite uncertain at the moment until you've officially made your millions from crypto. You got to have, just in case, some sort of a backup plan. So I assumed years ago that we'd see a good portion of normal people with like the light switch kind of going on in their minds and then being like, I can't do this anymore. Like I gotta make sure that I'm in crypto, that I at least have something, you know. Let me put $100 over the course of the year. Let me buy something. No. And these companies are buying furiously. So yeah, it's just the way that things are. It's the way that things will be. But it would be nice if we saw more normal people get into this market. That's the crypto treasuries are, yeah, they're going to own everything. So always remember how early you are in the market and stop selling your coins to BlackRock. Also, I saw this and I thought it was quite interesting. This is like a continuation of a very old story that we had from years ago. Back in 2018, after Tether and a bunch of other, no, mainly Tether, stable coins had launched, we started getting news that people around the world who weren't part of the financial system that you are part of, whose countries were not allowed to join SWIFT or be in SWIFT, were actually using crypto as a like Bitcoin and also stable coins as a means of actually transferring value. We haven't heard about this in a number of years, and I thought that this was fascinating that it popped up. Yeah, without having to go, too much into it, it's basically talking about how people are using stable coins to like send value around without actually having to worry that their currency is being debased. While I would love if people in these countries also purchased a smidge of Bitcoin just to have something, this idea is also quite fascinating. We're used to volatility in Bitcoin and in other, assets and stuff like that. But when you think about volatility in like your local currency, it gets pretty intense. It says across the continent in Lagos, someone named Chinadu runs a small shop and keeps his working capital in Tether. Holding digital wallets means he can restock imports without watching his margins vanish to the Naira's volatility. Yeah, he's hardly an outlier. Between July 2023 and June 2024, Nigeria alone processed nearly $22 billion in stablecoin transactions. It makes a lot of sense why all these companies are now trying to, and it's really kind of rotten at its core. And instead of, as I said before, this is a personal thing, instead of just like trying to back Tether or, help the company Tether, expand in this sort of way, these companies, these 800 companies, believe that they can all create their own stable coin and then try and like corner the market in Africa and also in Asia and Latin America, just to try and make like an extra buck. But no, this is really big. This also, if you didn't see, a couple of weeks ago, we had news about India. They said it outright. They have no plans on giving proper cryptocurrency regulations because they don't want to legitimize the market. The moment they legitimize the market, people stop using their local currency and then start using stable coins or accumulate Bitcoin. What happens? And I'd say it this way: when the people have the power and they don't have to like rely on the money that's being printed, that's inflating so heavily, things become a lot easier for them. So yeah, I saw this article and I was like, this is great. I'm very happy to hear it. Because the old system, and it's not even like stable coins are that much different from fiat, but the idea of being able to like imagine running your own store. Even something as simple as eBay. Like imagine selling stuff online, and every time you check your wallet, you literally see the literal value of the money that you just made. Oh, sorry, 18% of it is gone. You go to buy groceries and you tap your phone, you tap your wallet, you tap your watch, you tap your card. Sorry. Oh, you thought you had money? Oh, well, go make some more money and try again tomorrow. It's a weird thought. So, yeah. Anyway, I thought it was interesting. Okay, everyone, I think that's going to do it for this video. I do sincerely hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.